2019 is kicking off with the introduction of Beast units. The rulers of the Laguz banner features 4 Beast units from Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. For those unfamiliar, Laguz is the term used for the Beast races in these games, and the two terms are pretty interchangeable. Laguz can transform into their race of animal, and they introduce a new mechanic into the game. In this banner, you'll be able to get the HERON royal siblings, Leanne and Reyson, the King of the Hawk Laguz Tibarn, and the Queen of the Wolves, Nailah. In their games, Leanne and Reyson actually aren't able to attack, but they could use Sing on other units much like a dancer. As for Tibarn and Nailah, we are starting strong because they are really powerful in their games, hence why they are the rulers of their people. Now this video is going to be covering all these units' stats, their new weapons and skills, and a couple builds. Obviously these are brand new unit types, so I'm not going to focus too much on build options, especially since none of these beast units can inherit any other types of weapons. Before we get started, I want to talk about their transformation mechanic because all 4 work the same way. Each of these beast weapons have the same part for transforming. At the start of the turn, if the unit is adjacent to only beast or dragon allies, or if they are not adjacent to any ally, then the unit transforms. Otherwise, they revert. Similar to dragons, beast units fight in their animal forms, but they can stay transformed on the battlefield. I think it's best to think about these units being in their transformed state, because if they do transform, they get different bonuses. It appears the flying beast units get +1 extra movement. This does not stack, so don't worry about legendary Azura creating 4 movement units. Everyone seems to receive +2 extra attack, and that's not a field buff, that goes straight to their stat totals. Other effects are also possible, as you'll see when we talk about Nailah. So basically, you want your beast units to be transformed because they will be stronger when getting into a fight. If they don't transform, don't worry. Beast units seem to transform when a fight starts automatically, very much like how dragons do. We have footage of Nailah getting attacked while in her human form, but she still turns into a wolf. However, she will not get the bonuses from being in the transformed state, such as the extra attack. Basically, beast units must be in the transform state before a battle starts to get all the benefits. Now, all 4 of our beast units introduced have the same transformation conditions. However, it may be possible in the future that beast units could have different requirements. We'll just have to see. Alright, so let's start with Leanne. She is a colorless flying beast unit. As a flying unit, she has the innate weakness to archers, so keep her safe. Leanne's stats include 36 HP, 27 attack, 37 speed, 16 defense, and 34 resistance. It should be pretty obvious that Leanne doesn't want to take any physical damage, and as a colorless unit, she can't use the weapon triangle to her advantage. 34 resistance is quite good, and 37 speed is fantastic. While 27 attack isn't amazing, Leanne's main role will be to support the team. As I mentioned, the herons will be our beast dancers / singers, so don't expect them to be monster units in combat. For old skills, Leanne comes with Sing. Now it's important to remember that Leanne can move 3 spaces while in her heron form, and she can fly so she can reach faraway allies. Her A skill is Mirror Stance, which gives her +4 attack and resistance when attacked. Leanne has great res, so if she happens to get hit by a stray mage, she has a decent chance of surviving. Her B skill is Flyer Formation, which lets her move to any adjacent space next to a flying ally within 2 spaces. In terms of beast units, we have Tibarn and Reyson as flyers, and we are also getting Naesala, who is also a flyer. If you aren't putting together a full beast team, then Leanne will be a nice flying dancer for flyer emblem teams. We talked about the transformation aspect to these new beast weapons, so I won't cover them again. Leanne's unique weapon is called Heron Wing. It's a melee range weapon that has 14 might, plus an extra to attack when she is transformed. Heron Wing grants a flat +3 speed, putting Leanne at 40 base speed, which is very fast. At the start of every turn, all allies within 2 spaces of Leanne will be healed for 7 HP. That's very simple, and it's a very nice support ability for a dancer if you don't bring a healer. For the most part, Leanne should be next to her team a lot, so she should always be healing each turn. Just be wary about what units you pair with her. For example, units who want to stay on low HP to activate certain skills might get screwed over by Heron Wing's healing. This is extra true for Fury plus Desperation units. Now, if you have a tankier team who can take hits, let's say some strong enemy phase units, then Leanne will be a great match for them. Skills like Quick Repose can definitely be affected by 7 HP. Leanne's next new skill is called Hone Beast. Reminder that beast units are basically their own weapon type, so expect to see beast emblem teams start to pop up eventually. Like the other Hone emblem buffs, Hone Beast grants a meaty +6 attack and speed field buff each turn to adjacent beast allies. Everyone should be familiar with these types of skills by now, and it means Leanne will be a very good support unit to acquire if you ever want to make a full beast team. Now for builds, I'm gonna highly suggest that you don't expect Leanne to do much if any fighting. Her speed is great and her res is good, but her low base attack won't be dishing out tons of damage. Plus, as a colorless unit, she cannot gain the advantage against a single color type, and she can't use Triangle Adept to boost her power and defenses. You need to be super careful not to let Leanne take any physical hits because she can be one-shotted by strong units. As for her skills, you can keep her base kit if you want. I would suggest a chill beast skill to further play a supportive role, and a buffing sacred seal is always nice. Leanne will be a fine support unit, but definitely don't expect her to be taking out entire teams by herself. Our next unit is Leanne's brother, Reyson. Reyson is also a HERON, but is a green beast unit, so he'll be better off versus blue units. His stats are 37 HP, 29 attack, 34 speed, 24 defense, and 26 resistance. Personally, this is my favorite type of dancer stat line because it's very balanced. 34 speed is a nice starting point, and with 24 defense, at least Reyson won't have to worry about every incoming attack. 29 attack is pretty average for dancers, and 26 res is good, just not min-maxed, which is okay. Speed will be an important stat for Reyson since it can help him improve both his offense and defense as well. As a HERON, Reyson has Sing, so just like his sister, his main role will be supporting his allies with extra actions. His A skill is Steady Posture, which is a pretty rare skill still. Plus 4 speed and defense when attacked is really good, and both are exactly what Reyson wants if he does get into a skirmish. Now, Reyson also has HERON Wing, and it does the exact same thing as Leanne's version. The flat +3 speed brings Reyson up to a very nice 37 base speed, and well, he can't change out his weapon for anything else anyway. Mirroring his sister, Reyson brings Fortified Beasts to the game, which grants +6 defense and resistance to adjacent beast allies each turn. Again, this is a really strong buffing ability, and it'll be nice to have if you want to build a beast emblem team. Sure, his selection isn't very big right now, but maybe in year 3 we'll start to see more and more beast heroes. Now, Reyson comes with a much more balanced set of defenses compared to his sister. HERON Wing is a melee weapon, so Reyson's extra defense will benefit him in tanking hits. With his high speed and decent resistance, Reyson does stand a decent chance at surviving attacks if they aren't from a red unit or an archer. Wings of Mercy is of course an always annoying dancer skill, and it's always a safe choice if you have nothing else. Since Reyson is a green dancer, he can use Triangle Adept. His good speed and balanced defenses is exactly what Triangle Adept users want. While Steady Posture is a nice A skill, Triangle Adept can act as an offensive and defensive boost if you just want Reyson to focus on fighting blue units. It's a great way to improve his low base stats as long as you make sure he doesn't encounter any red foes. Speaking of red foes, Tibarn isn't messing around, he ain't no support unit. As the Hawk King, he's ready to charge into battle, and this guy is stacked with so many attack buffs, it's ridiculous. Tibarn is a flying red beast unit with 41 HP, 38 attack, 31 speed, 34 defense, and 18 resistance. Standout traits are definitely his 38 base attack, and despite only having 31 speed, you'll see that Tibarn will be able to pump out doubles quite often. 34 defense is pretty good as well, and his obvious weakness will be to magic damage and of course bows and arrows. Draconic Aura is a great special for Tibarn to go with since he has a really high attack stat. His B skill is Chill Attack, which will debuff the strongest enemy attacker. His C skill is Even Attack Wave, which means Tibarn can self-buff his attack stat, and that's really strong when we take a look at his main weapon. Tibarn comes with the Hawk King Claws, and besides the usual transformation requirements, it also grants a flat +3 attack. This puts Tibarn at 41 base attack and 55 attack total with his weapon equipped. If Tibarn initiates combat against a full HP enemy, then he gets a guaranteed follow-up attack. This is a very good ability because most times you're dealing with full HP targets anyway. Backed by an incredibly high attack stat, and Tibarn is quite the player phase unit. He also can move 3 spaces when transformed, and being able to fly over terrain is going to make him tough to stop. Things don't stop there though. Tibarn introduces a new tier 4 skill called Sturdy Impact. I want to make it clear that Sturdy Impact is only usable by infantry and flying units, so no armors and no cavalry, thank goodness. This skill is a purely player phase ability. When initiating, the unit gains +6 attack and +10 defense. Also, the enemy loses a follow-up attack. This is a very strong player phase ability. It has the power of Death Blow 3 and adds protection, which can be very nice to keep attackers healthy. For example, regular Ephraim would love Sturdy Impact because he needs to stay on high HP to activate his guaranteed follow-up attacks. That +10 defense would be very much appreciated. Now, I think this skill is going to be strong, not because of its pure damage potential, but because of its ability to let an attacker survive that first encounter. Everyone may have forgotten the terror of Wings of Mercy dancers because of the armor takeover, but it's one of the main reasons why it's so important to finish off enemies in one round of combat. If Tibarn or any other unit survives, it can lead to Wings of Mercy users flying in or the unit getting repositioned to safety. The cancellation of a follow-up will be a huge factor for these types of situations. Now, besides Tibarn or Ephraim, I think there are some ranged units who can also use this skill. Imagine dagger units being able to debuff your whole team or buffing up their team, all while applying Savage Blow. Sturdy Impact would be incredibly good for units who run into their deaths, which is basically every AI enemy. Failing to take them out may start to cause issues you normally wouldn't have to deal with. So not really a surprise, but Tibarn's base kit is already pretty awesome. All the attack in the world, the ability to get follow-ups, 3 movement, a self-attack buff, and getting a ton of survivability when initiating. Hawk King Claw is definitely going to be strong, and even if the enemy is weakened, Tibarn might only need 1 attack anyway. Being able to fly over any terrain and having his own attack buff every other turn, Tibarn will be a great unit that can go off on his own. I think Heavy Blade will be a strong Sacred Seal for him, and with it he should be able to activate Draconic Aura in 1 round of combat as long as he takes 1 counterattack. Now for Aether Raids, I think Tibarn can make use of Sturdy Impact for some very fun builds. Gale Force can get activated with Heavy Blade equipped, and you can combine that with Lunge or Pass to just cause havoc on the enemy's back line. Sturdy Impact will make it tough to take out Tibarn if you use an enemy phase unit, and failing to KO him can lead to things such as Wings of Mercy units flying in unexpectedly. Personally, I think Sturdy Impact will be a strong skill for this mode. It really emphasizes taking out that unit on the player phase to avoid all the annoyance. Luckily for most people, I'm sure Reinhardt will be the common answer to Tibarn specifically if he starts to become a problem. For our last unit, we have Nailah. To round out our colors, she is a blue beast unit, and she is actually an infantry unit. Nailah sports 40 HP, 31 attack, 37 speed, 32 defense, and 23 resistance. For the most part, all of her stats are pretty passable, and 37 speed is a good base value. 32 defense is decent for melee combat, and 23 resistance is okay, but not amazing. Now, I wish she had a bit more resistance because Nailah comes with Distant Counter. It pairs nicely with the rest of her new skills. She also carries Moonbow, which is fine, and it too works with the rest of her base kit. Nailah's unique weapon is the Wolf Queen Fang. It has 14 might and the same transformation requirements, but it has a different bonus instead of +1 extra movement. When transformed, Nailah actually gets +10 damage on special triggers, similar to a Woe Dao. This is good because the Wolf Queen Fang also comes with -1 special cooldown permanently. It also boosts Nailah's attack and speed by +2 for every ally within 2 spaces up to a maximum of +6. All in all, this weapon looks pretty darn scary. It puts Moonbow on a 1-turn cooldown, and when Moonbow procs, it gets +10 true damage. Not to mention with Distant Counter, Nailah can bait ranged enemies, take 1 hit, and then retaliate with Moonbow. She should also have an easy time getting the extra attack and speed if she plays a defensive playstyle. Nailah's new B skill is called Null Seek Disrupt. This skill neutralizes special effects and disables skills that prevent counterattacks. So we finally have a true counter to the problematic Dazzling Staff on healers, and from my understanding, this should also apply to a lot of other weapons and skills, such as fire sweep weapons. I think this should also apply to Bravelyn Sakei's Blessing too, so Nailah is very much going to be a wanted unit. I think this skill currently has a lot of value, mainly because of Brave Veronica. Besides fighting Dazzling Staff or Fire Sweep type effects, though Null Seek Disrupt doesn't seem to offer much else. In a similar fashion to Cancel Affinity, I would say it has a pretty niche purpose, but that niche is currently one of the most popular abilities everyone has to face. At this time and place, this is definitely going to be a much sought after skill. Now, Nailah's last skill is actually unique for her. It's called Glare, and essentially it applies the same effect as the Gravity Plus staff. If Nailah attacks her target and any foes within 1 space of that target will have their movement restricted to 1 space for their next actions. Now, if you've been hit by gravity, I'm sure you know it's a very annoying thing to have to deal with. I'm not entirely sure how effective Glare will be on a melee unit like Nailah, but since Nailah has Distant Counter and Null Seek Disrupt, she should be able to apply it all the time. I think Nailah will be used a lot with her base kit, and I'm not very sure how she will play with other build setups. I'll be interested to see if anyone uses her differently, but for now, I do think most players will be fine with her base kit. Moonbow will be on a 1-turn cooldown, so Nailah just needs to take 1 hit to unleash it on the counter. Ideally, you also want to make sure she is in her transformed state, so Moonbow gets the extra +10 damage, and then you also want allies near her to get the attack and speed boost. Unlike Tibarn, Nailah's kit is very defensive in nature. I think if you are going to use her for taking down Veronica or Brave Lynn, then Distant Defense will be great for the extra stats. She should easily be able to take both of them down when she gets to counterattack with Moonbow. Now besides using No C Disrupt, I would also think that Wrath would be really good here. The extra damage stacks with her weapon, and she can even get Moonbow charged for her player phase. I'm assuming she should be able to use Wrath, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Since these are our first beast units in the game, I can't exactly say I know how things will play out for each of these guys. I think Leanne and Reyson will be pretty useful regardless of their combat abilities just because they have Sing. Tibarn looks like he's going to be a very tough to take down enemy if you try to bait him in. As for Nailah, she has the answer to all the crazy Dazzling Staff Brave Veronica problems, at least I think she does. This is some new territory for the game, so I think everyone is just going to have to get some experience using and fighting against our new beast unit friends. Now, I just wanted to quickly mention that the next Grand Hero battle features Naesala, who, as you can guess, will be a beast unit reward. So even if you aren't pulling on this banner, everyone is going to get the chance to at least try out a beast unit. I have my own video out on him after I get to try him out for myself in a couple days. Thanks for watching, I'll have more videos on the way, and I'll see you guys next time.